Welcome to Game 2 of our doubleheader coverage of Maryland Eastern Shore softball on YouTube in their matchup against the St. Peter's Peacocks. And we're getting ready for Game 2 of a doubleheader where St. Peter's took Game 1 in emphatic fashion, 19-1. But Maryland Eastern Shore is looking for a bounce back in a big way here in Game 2. It'll be O'Neill versus Olivia Christopher to get us started as a first pitch high, 4-1, and we're underway here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Weather a lot more cloudy. It looked kind of closer to a summer day a few moments ago. Now it looks a little closer to like a fall or winter day here on the Eastern Shore. Next pitch high, 2 balls and no strikes. And we'll see if that adjusts the gameplay a little bit as well, as it's a lot windier, a lot cloudier here in the sky. Maybe a little bit easier for the fielders to play the ball a little bit in the air. 2 balls, no strikes to Christopher. And the next pitch sails outside, 3 balls and no strikes. We'll introduce the lineups here right after this plate appearance by Christopher. O'Neill, a pitcher that pitched in that last game. 3-0 from Cassidy O'Neill to Christopher. It's a called strike on a fastball. For O'Neill, she's making just her second start of the season and 10th overall appearance. Next pitch is a rise ball for a ball. That's a walk. And that's a leadoff base runner for St. Peter's. So here's the lineup for the Peacocks today. Clad in the white jerseys on your screen and pinstripes. Kind of reminds you of the Yankees a little bit. You have Jess Forte batting second. You just saw Christopher bat first. Dakota Pitts is batting third. Ty Turner bats cleanup. Ashley Murphy's batting fifth. Vince Lowitz bats sixth. Charles bats seventh. First pitch is a called strike. 0-1 to Forte. Carly Charles bats seventh. Taylor Montgomery bats eighth. And Lauren Zerwinski bats ninth for the Peacocks, a team that just went over 500 a few moments ago, as they are now 3-2 on the young season. Of course, one thing that's interesting, early on in the season, you get a lot of cancellations, so teams can really vary in the amount of games played. For the Hawks, this is already Game 10. For St. Peter's, it's Game 2. Next pitch is inside for ball number 1 on a rise ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jess Forte. Player that's had a couple of great seasons with St. Peter's. That time she'll wave and a miss for strike 2. 2024, she bat .306 across 50 starts, racking up 34 RBI and double-digit home runs, 10 home runs on the season. 2023, also 50 games played. So take a look at that pitch that's just a hair outside on an off-speed. I believe the count's even, 2-2. Next pitch here from Cassidy O'Neill. Wave and a miss, strike 3. She went with the drop curve and picks up her first K of the day. Some nice up and down movement there on that pitch from Cassidy O'Neill. And she's a player that, despite the lopsided score, she did have moments of success, specifically in the 3rd inning of our earlier game, as the first pitch is high to Dakota Pitts. Count is 1 ball, no strikes, 1 away, top of the 1st, with a runner aboard for St. Peter's. She had 3 strikeouts and even had a pretty quick inning in the 3rd inning. But really the big issue for UMES was the offense for St. Peter's being able to produce big innings. They had an inning where they put up 10 and an inning where they put up 6. Here's the pitch. That ball skied in the air. This one's to center field. Clark started in, moved back, and made the catch for out number 2. Nice work there by Clark, tracking that one in all the way. Even after taking a false step inside, she had the speed to recover to get that one down. So Pitts is down on the fly out to center field. And this will bring on Ty Turner. For Turner, she was 1 for 4 in Game 1 of the doubleheader and also scored 2 runs. That time she'll swing through her first pitch for a strike. Cassidy O'Neill's stuff looks pretty good right now. So far, so good for the Hawks, who are trying to capture some of the energy baseball had this past weekend. And there's another called strike. Fastball on the money by O'Neill. But a team that lost 10-0 in their first game of a doubleheader against Towson and then won the second game 14-7, completely flushed away that first game. The Hawks have an opportunity to do that here in softball. Off-speed pitch, skied over to the right side, no problem for Ojeda, who makes the catch moving forward. And that is a scoreless inning for the Hawks. Right into the bottom of the first inning, where we will introduce the lineup for UMES when we come back here on YouTube. Bottom of the first inning, and UMES has grabbed the bats. We are scoreless here in this bottom of the first inning, and the Hawks will look to scratch some offense. They put up one run in their last game, but the person who scored that run or directly had the RBI that was made the run happen was J.C. Holt, who leads things off. Took the first pitch for a ball. It's Nolan Mountain batting second, Michaela Clark batting third for UMES. Clark Calvin is batting cleanup for the Hawks, while Ojeda will be batting fourth. Next pitch is high, 2 balls and no strikes on that pitch in from Lipansky. Paige Perkins bats fifth. Lola Meyer bats sixth. Emily Gunther bats eighth, and Tyler Dickerson bats ninth for the Hawks. Looking for their second win of the season. There's another pitch taken high. Good discipline there by Holt. We'll see. Lily's a slap hitter, tries to get a nice running start. She always says when facing challenging opponents, the big thing is to try to scout, find weaknesses, and hit them right when they are weak at. As there's a first pitch strike, or first strike, I should say, of the at-bat. 3 balls and 1 strike to J.C. Holt. Again, some good production from Holt in that last inning, or last game. 1 for 2, RBI, as well as a single. 3-1. Ball launched over to the right side, but right into the gloves of the waiting Benz Lowitz, who puts that away for out number 1 on the fly out. So Holt's down on the fly out. That's the first out of the day for the pitcher, Morgan Lipansky. Sophomore pitcher, and she's from Maryland, from Clarksburg, and attended Damascus High School. Pretty prominent high school in Maryland. This is the second start and second appearance of the season for Lipansky. She'll be up in the count 0-1 now against Nola Mountain, making her first appearance of the afternoon. Mountain, a second baseman for Maryland Eastern Shore. Senior, originally from Surrey, British Columbia, so north of the border. She'll foul off a rise ball. She actually moved her bat pretty up high to bunt that one. But it's a foul ball nevertheless. 0-2 here in the bottom of the first. Nobody on and 1 away. Maybe working on a potential upgraded scoreboard for you momentarily. We have our live stats up and running, and we may be able to transition that new score bug in, so you'll be able to have a lot more information out there. There's one that's going to be hitting the foul territory. That'll keep the count the same, 0-2. So Mountain seeing the ball pretty well. And she has seen the ball well throughout her whole career. 2024 as a junior, she led the team in batting average, recording 55 hits throughout the season. Also recorded 42 hits as a sophomore, so really good offense, very potent. That ball bounced on the ground over to Lipansky, and she puts away that out, throwing it over to first base for out number 2. So Mountain is down on the 1-3. And this brings on Michaela Clark. Bases clear. No score here in the bottom of the first. Here's Lepansky's first pitch. Wave and a miss for strike one. Good speed on the fastball that time from Lepansky. For Clark, 1 for 2. For Michaela Clark, often nicknamed Mac. Had a double in inning number 3 of game 1 of our doubleheader today. And that is how the Hawks end up scoring their only run of the day, as she was driven in by J.C. Holt. Bit of a shakeup in the lineup for Coach Aaron Robinson, second-year head coach for the Hawks, who are clad in their maroon jerseys today. Next offering in. That's a change-up hit on the ground over to the shortstop, Forte. Throws it with some good speed over to first base, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Morgan Lepansky in her second start of the season. We're headed to the top of the second inning with no score here at Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. Stay with us here on YouTube. One inning up, one inning down here in Salisbury, Maryland at the Henry S. Parker Athletic Center. First pitch is a swing and a miss there by Ashley Murphy. You'll also see Steph Benslowitz and Carly Charles due up in the frame, working against Cassidy O'Neill, who had one of the best innings of the day, as there's a line drive to center and a nice catch on the jump by Clark out in center field. One up, one down. You might notice a little difference in our scoreboard as we have been upgraded. Now you're getting an even better at-home experience via YouTube. So you can see the pitches, you can see the outs, see that all live. Of course, co-worker Robert Fergus doing all the stats over here. Here's Benslowitz up at the plate. Very productive in game 1, as she was 2 for 3 with 2 RBI and also a fielder's choice. There's a hard hit ball into right center, and there's a base hit. First base hit for either side. So the freshman is aboard at first base. Originally from Pennsylvania. And she'll try to get St. Peter's offense humming like they did in game 1, as they got season highs in runs and hits. 19 total runs in that last game. First pitch is a rise ball outside to Carly Charles. Player that did have 1 plate appearance, and that was in inning number 3. She pinch hit for Ashley Murphy. 1-0 rather. That's inside. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Next offering. Wave and a miss. Nice work on the breaking ball. Kind of moved up and then dropped down at the last second on the drop curve. Makes the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Charles is a sophomore. Stands in against Cassidy O'Neill. Does a good job not to take the cheese on a high pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Battle between a freshman and a sophomore. Next pitch, change up low and inside. Count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. With 1 runner aboard, 1 away, here's the pitch. And there's a walk. So first walk of the game for St. Peter's, a stat in which they excelled at in the last game as they drew not 5, not 6, but 7 walks as a team. So that puts runners on first and second for St. Peter's. You can now see that on the nice little diamond graphic here. You can see who's pitching. You can see who's up to bat. That's smooth. So the next challenger for Cassidy O'Neill will be Taylor Montgomery, who shows bunt on the first pitch. A rise ball skies over her bat for ball 1. For Montgomery in the last game, she reached base not once, not twice, but thrice. Base hit in the 4th inning, had a walk in the 4th, and then reached on a hit by pitch. Little conversation there between Perkins and O'Neill. O'Neill loves the game of softball because she gets to play a competitive game where I can build strong bonds with my teammates and play the games that we love. And to play 2 games that she loves today. Next pitch is inside. The count is 2-0. So now I don't even have to say the pitch count every single time either. It's kind of nice. 2-0 offering. That ball chopped on the ground. Diving stop there by Meyer, but she has no throw. At least the play by Meyer prevented a run from scoring, or 6-4 rather, sorry. I didn't even see the throw over there. See, I'm wearing glasses. I should be able to see these things, but apparently not. So that's a 6-4 fielder's choice. So that is 2 away in the inning. Since Ben's Lowitz to first, Charles was out on the fielder's choice, and Montgomery is aboard on the FC. And here is Zerwinski batting in the 9 hole. And the offering. Fastball sent right down the middle, but no problem for O'Neill. She skied up in the air, made the catch, and there's some cheers going on in the Maryland Eastern Shore dugout after that dynamic play by the pitcher. So we're headed to the bottom of the 2nd inning where the Hawks strand a runner 90 feet away from scoring from St. Peter's, and they'll look to score when we come back here in the bottom of the 2nd. Sorry, my bad on that one. I didn't even see the 6-4. I don't know how I didn't, but yeah. Hawks are back to work here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, and we get quickly started with Clark Calvin grounding out to second base. Put a ball quickly in play on that first pitch, and that's a quick out for Morgan Lepansky. So far, has faced the minimum through 4 batters faced. And we'll look to do the same thing here against Danae Ojeda. She did come into the game a little bit. She was a pinch runner in the 5th inning for the Hawks in the last game. Just like the first pitch for a strike. Their score bug, we're trying to catch everything up here, but it is the bottom of the 2nd inning. And the count is 0-1 right now to Ojeda with one away. No score in this game. There's a bunt. That bunt stays fair. The third baseman runs in quickly. The throw is not in time. Turner tried to make that throw, but Ojeda just had too much speed as she gets the first base on the infield single. Say a bunt single is probably a better definition of that. Bunt single for Ojeda. And the Hawks have their first base runner of the day. This brings on Paige Perkins. Rocking a great jersey number 42. You can't go wrong with that number. There's a hard line drive that's fouled for strike number 1 by Perkins. Catcher was in the designated, or flex spot, I should say, in game 1. So now getting her first plate appearance of the day. Junior originally from Waterford, Connecticut. 0-1 offering. Pitches a ball to throw down to second, is into the outfield. So Ojeda swipes the second base bag. That puts a runner now in scoring position with the count 1-1 to Perkins. See, the difference one day can make. You get to have the benefit of flushing away a bad outing or a bad game. Next offering. Ball a little off speed. That's high in the zone for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike to Paige Perkins. Starting catcher for the Hawks. She's played pretty consistently since her freshman year, appearing in 43 games as a freshman. This pitch is a rise ball high. 3 balls and 1 strike. Perkins appeared in 43 games as a freshman, 36 games as a sophomore. Very reliable with her fielding, over a 95% rate. And she'll foul that one backwards, and whoever is on camera for Game Changer, rest in peace. As we did have our Game Changer camera set up there for scouting, and the ball went right back into the camera. And it looks like the camera's okay, thankfully. So Coach Robinson has some words there for the umpires. Our umpires today are Carrie, Buddy, and Patrick. So here we go. 3 balls and 2 strikes to pitch. That ball flied in the air, but it should be foul, and it will be. Sun is starting to peak up a little bit. Looked like it was going to be a lot of clouds, but with the sun, it has dramatically warmed up the temperatures. It's one of those games where when the sun is out, it feels warm. When the sun is not out, it feels like you need a jacket. So we'll do it again. Payoff pitch. Lepansky versus Perkins. That's a foul ball and into still foul territory, I should say, as that ball is thrown over towards third base. A nice swipe bag there on the foul out by Ojeda as the ball went behind the backstop, or in between the backstop and home plate, I should say. The catcher made the catch in Zerwinski to bring that one down. So that's 2 outs in the inning. Perkins is down on the foul out. However, Ojeda in prime scoring position for the Hawks, trying to give them their first lead of the day. Here's Lola Meyer for the first time today. She'll take a pitch low and away for ball 1. Meyer's a freshman from Princeton, Minnesota. Had a sister that also played softball, and one of her favorite softball memories was her and her sister both hitting home runs in the same game back in high school. Meyer up in the count right now. 2 balls and no strikes against Lepansky, who's making her second start of the season. Next pitch is low. It gets away from the catcher on a wild one. And in comes Ojeda to score, and the Hawks have their first lead of the afternoon. Man, how things can change in between games of doubleheaders. So the wild pitch gets the runner home and also puts Lola Meyer up 3-0 in the count. Next offering is a called strike. It had to be, and it was on that fastball. Maryland Eastern Shore just one run in that first game. And now chance to get more than that in this one. Next pitch is a rise ball, and it's now a 3-ball, 2-strike count. It's a great effort by Lepansky, working her way back after the wild pitch and responding with 2 straight strikeouts, one on a fastball and one on a rise ball. Definitely some potential maybe to go off speed here. We'll see it. 3-2. That was a little bit off speed, but fouled off to the left side. And we'll do it again. Very competitive plate appearance right now for Lola Meyer. Hawks team looking for their second win of the year and looking to really compete in a MEAC conference that certainly has some tough teams in this league. The way you build up to that is in the non-conference. Next pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Lepansky went back to the rise ball, and that got Lola Meyer to miss. However, the Hawks, they take the lead in the bottom of the second inning. It was Danae Ojeda stealing second base, I should say, and then coming home to score on a wild pitch. It's what good base running can do to you. But the Hawks, they lead 1-0 as we head to the third. Back to the action. So we've had to switch the scoreboards out. We're having some technical difficulties with that, but we'll keep things going here. And inning number 3, 1-0 lead for UMES. And they have their first lead of the day. But here's St. Peter's now in some unfamiliar territory for today, looking to work from behind. So Olivia Christopher takes the first strike there. I believe I messed up the count there, but we'll figure out what it is as soon as the umpire puts it up. Be the 1-2-3 in the order in this inning. Jess Forte and Dakota Pitts for St. Peter's. Cassidy O'Neill's next pitch is in the turf. I believe the count is 3 balls, 1 strike. It's either 3 balls, 1 strike or 2 balls, 2 strikes. For Olivia Christopher, 2 RBI, 2 singles. Also reached on a walk and scored twice in game 1 of the doubleheader. And she'll hit one over towards the shortstop Meyer at the field, deep in the hole. The throw to first, not in time. Nice long throw that time from Meyer, but Christopher had too much speed and beat it out. Exactly what you want from your leadoff player right now if you're St. Peter's. Christopher has been on base twice. And then if you go back into the last game, she's been on base 5 of her 7 appearances at the plate. So this brings us to Jess Forte, who was a strikeout victim against Cassidy O'Neill last time she was up. Forte, a transfer over from Seton Hall University. So look at the first pitch fastball for ball one. For Forte, batting 154 coming into this doubleheader, but the thing for St. Peter's is there's another strike, is that a lot of these players are going to have averages that are going to skyrocket, especially after achieving a day with tons of season highs. In the circle, O'Neal rocks and fires. Wave and a miss. Little drop curveball that got over the bat of Jess Forte. Some quick movement on that one, up and down. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's O'Neal's pitch. Just outside. And Forte not taking the cheese there. No swing. And the count's even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. With a runner on first base, the 2-2. That ball launched, but foul over to the left side. She actually had a good hold of that one. However, was a bit early on the swing. Forte 2 for 4. Made the joke, you could say that hitting was her forte in that opening game. 2 for 4 with a couple runs scored. Now in a tough spot in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Next offering. And that's high, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Neal kind of taps and say, my bad, a little high. And this will set up a payoff pitch. There were many moments where there were payoff pitches and high leverage scoring situations for St. Peter's, and they got hits on multiple of them that allowed them to blow the game open. This time, though, they'll have a walk, and that puts runners on first and second. So Forte aboard on first, Christopher aboard at second. Nobody out. In the top of the 3rd inning and a 1-0 lead for the Hawks. So this brings on Dakota Pitts. Next challenger. Take the first pitch for a ball. For Pitts, she's came into this game batting .250 with 4 base hits, 2 doubles, and an RBI. And her number is just going to keep going up. She's now got 3 RBIs this season and may have an opportunity for another one. Cassie O'Neal has something to say about it. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Pitts. St. Peter's, they've had a couple of really good hitters that have bat already above 300, and then quite a few that are also batting in that 200 range. So with the sun starting to set, there was a nice little assist there from assistant coach Savannah Smith, pitching coach, giving the mask and the sunglasses there to Cassie O'Neal, block out the sun a little bit. The next pitch fouled off for strike 2. Dakota Pitts is originally from Maryland, attending Patterson Mill High School. She'll foul off another one. There's a couple kids back here. This is a great opportunity to go field some softballs. Might have some future players out here, too. Yeah, the kid even has a golden glove and everything. Love to see it. Runners on first and second, nobody out, top of the 3rd. Next pitch. Gonna be a fly ball over towards right center field. Clark tracking it down, but instead gives way to Ojeda, who makes the catch. And that's 1 away. Nice job by Ojeda, especially immediately after she made the catch. It's kind of better for a right fielder to make that catch moving over to her right, because she would have had a great vision to make a throw to 3rd if Christopher would have threatened. So that retires Pitts and brings on Ty Turner, the 3rd baseman. First pitch from O'Neal. That's fouled backwards. Bat underneath of that pitch. For Turner, also from Maryland. There's plenty of players on this New Jersey-based team for St. Peter's that are from Maryland. So it's got to be exciting for them being able to play a little bit closer to home. And I know a lot of coaches, they have the tendency to do that. As there's a fly ball. This one's over to left field for J.C. Holt. Makes the call, makes the catch, and that's 2 away. But a lot of coaches are very intentional about making sure their players have opportunities to play close to home if possible. And you got to give credit to Coach Alyssa Ruiz for getting that done. So with 2 away, 2 runners on in this top of the 3rd inning, 1-0 lead for UMES. Ashley Murphy, next batter up, and she takes strike 1. Murphy's an in-state player, originally from Medford, New Jersey, attending Shawnee. Next pitch inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. She earned all-conference athletic honors in the Olympic Conference back in high school. And then in 2024, did not have the most games played, but she made the most of her action that she had as she fouls off the next pitch for strike 2. Murphy played in 15 games, registering 12 at-bats, but in those 12 at-bats, 4 of them were hits and 3 of them were doubles. Also picked up an RBI. So showcasing to the coaches, I'm ready to move into a bigger role, and she has here in 2025. The 1-2 rise ball is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Ashley Murphy. Tying run in scoring position for St. Peter's, clad in pinstripes today. Next pitch is a fastball called strike 3. She rung her up. And after allowing the first 2 base runners on, Cassidy O'Neill has now retired 3 in a row. As we head to the bottom of the 3rd, the Hawks lead 1-0, and they'll look to double or maybe triple their lead when we come back here on YouTube. Home half of the 3rd inning here in Salisbury, Maryland, just about 20 minutes north of Maryland Eastern Shores campus. And the Hawks lead 1-0 as we begin this 3rd inning with Emily Gunther having her first plate appearance of the day. UMES got their first run of the day thanks to some crafty base running from Danae Ojeda, who got on with a base hit, an infield single. She stole second and then ultimately scored on a wild pitch. Next pitch is high for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Emily Gunther. Gunther was the starting pitcher for the Hawks in game 1. Didn't have the best outing, but what's great is you got an opportunity to bounce back here in game 2 of the doubleheader. She'll swing through a nice rise ball that time. One ball and 2 strikes. That was one where Lepansky kind of attacked on the inside part of the plate. Got the whiff. Next pitch, wave and a miss, strike 3. Morgan Lepansky blew that one past Gunther. She's got her 2nd strikeout of the day. Lepansky trying to follow up what was a great outing by Abel White for St. Peter's, earning her 2nd pitching win of the season. White finished with 5 innings of work, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts, and earned the win for her performance. Tyler Dickerson swings through pitch number 1 on the fastball. For Tyler, 3rd baseman making her first appearance of the day. She's originally from Maryland, attending Colonel Richardson High School. The 2nd pitch, swing and a miss. Right now, the pitches are working for Lepansky. She's getting whiffs from the UMES bats. For Dickerson, one of her favorite softball memories was winning a Maryland State championship back-to-back-to-back with her travel team. So very winning pedigree. Next pitch is a rise ball upstairs. We've seen a lot of pitches attacking high in the zone. A lot of the setups, it seems, for the pitchers, you kind of go rise ball up high and then try to sneak in a changeup or a fastball low. Next offering, wave and a miss, strike 3. That's another strikeout for Lepansky. She is rolling. She has now struck out 3 batters in a row. So this will bring on second team preseason All-MEAC selection in J.C. Holtz. Back to the top of the lineup now for the Hawks, up 1-0 with 2 away in inning number 3. Game 2 of a doubleheader in a series in which St. Peter's has won 3 in a row dating back to last year. So the junior from Birchwood, Tennessee, stands in and waves through another fastball. Strikeout stuff has been on all day for Lepansky, or at least I should say in this inning. Next, a changeup that time, and it just misses the zone low and away for ball 2. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Lepansky, pitch number 23. 2-1. Wave and a miss. Time went high. And the count's even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. J.C. Holt looking to stay alive. One of the better bats for UMES, batting .324 last season. 2-2. And that's tap foul. It could be playable, and it is, as the catch is made by Turner. And that retires the side for the Hawks. So a very efficient inning for Lepansky. She strikes out 2, as her pitches are on right now in the 3rd. But the Hawks are the ones in the lead, as they lead 1-0 as we head to the top of the 4th inning here in Salisbury. Three innings up, 3 innings down here in Salisbury. The sun's starting to come out again after it looked pretty cloudy. And we are having a great softball game right now between Maryland Eastern Shore and St. Peter's. 1-0 lead for the Hawks, as the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Benslowitz. You'll see Benslowitz, Charles, and Montgomery, the 6, 7, 8 in the order for the visiting Peacocks, coming down south from New Jersey. This is an infield fly. This ball is going to land right in the glove of Dickerson, moving over to her left, and Tyler puts that away for out number 1. So a quick out there for O'Neill, who's been rolling. As for UMES, one of the biggest goals in this game was to get a quality start from their pitcher. The next pitch fouled off by Carly Charles for strike number 1. In the last game, the Hawks had to utilize 3 pitchers within the first 4 innings of the game, and none of them went more than 2 innings. Right now, O'Neill already through 3 innings strong, pitching one of her best games this season. There's a changeup that misses low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. pitch outside and high. 2 balls and 1 strike to Charles, who on the website for St. Peter's, they really mentioned her leadership ability on and off the field, and that she's going to bring that. She was a former captain. Next pitch fouled off, 2 balls and 2 strikes. She was a varsity softball captain and received the Athlete of the Week award while at Millville High School. So bringing that leadership ability now to St. Peter's. Next pitch fouled off again. That keeps the count the same, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now, I've shown some restraint. I'm sure St. Peter's gets this a lot whenever they're on a broadcast, but can't help but mentioning how their basketball team made a great run a few years ago. That's how I learned about who St. Peter's was, making a run all the way to the Elite 8. Next pitch fouled off again. I'm sounding like a broken record. As Charles trying to locate that pitch from Cassidy O'Neill. Just pitched 50 there from O'Neill. But a great run by St. Peter's, and whenever you have a big run like that, that not only benefits financially for the school, but benefits their entire conference and gives you a little bit more extra finances for your budget. Next pitch inside for ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Charles. And that led to a lot of facility upgrades for the basketball team. And made St. Peter's a household name. 3-2. Tap foul. And that is the 5th pitch, I believe, that has been fouled off by Carly Charles in this plate appearance. Coaches will love to see that. Of course, St. Peter's coached by Alyssa Ruiz in her first season. Aaron Robinson coaching the Hawks on the other side. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on the payoff, as that is the 3rd strikeout of the day for Cassidy O'Neill. He has retired and sat down quite a few batters by means of a strikeout today. She had 3 strikeouts in her appearance earlier this afternoon in game 1. She struck out 3. And now she's already struck out 3 in this game, as there's a ball that's lofted over towards the right side and through for a base hit. It was Montgomery who had to beat the throw. She barely beat out the throw, but she was still able to get to first base with plenty of time to spare. And that breaks a stretch of 5 straight batters retired, and it's the 3rd hit overall for the Peacocks in game 2 of the doubleheader. Right now in the 4th inning. In the last game, the 4th inning was one to remember for St. Peter's, because they scored more runs in the 4th inning than they did throughout any individual game this season. Sherwinski flies that one over into the infield. That catch is made by Mountain, moving to her left, and that retires the side. So Cassidy O'Neill continuing her strong outing. She has gone 4 innings scoreless in the circle for the Hawks. Headed to the bottom of the 4th inning with the Hawks going back to grab the bats when we come back here on YouTube. Home half of the 4th inning here in Salisbury, Maryland. Henry S. Parker Athletic Facility. Battle between St. Peter's and UMES. My name is Cedric Granger. Happy to be joining you here on YouTube. Something tells me, though, St. Peter's fans, you might prefer if this game was streamed on Peacock. It'll be Nola Mountain, Michaela Clark, and Clark Calvin. The 3 you'll see in the inning. The 2, 3, 4 in the order. It's a first pitch slap hit attempt, and it's a called strike by the umpire. So Mountain with her 2nd plate appearance of the day, and a ground out to the pitcher, but did put the ball in play, which sometimes early on in the season, That's really what you need to do. If you can keep putting the ball in play, especially when you know you're a team that has great speed along the base paths, and the fact that it's early in the season and teams are still really trying to get into a good groove defensively, could lead to some mistakes from the other team. Infield pinched in, and the next pitch misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. Far, the Hawks holding steady. 1-0 lead. Their 1 run was scored due to the base running heroics of Ojeda. There's a bunt, but that ball will be fouled off. A kind of a cue shot that hit on the first base line, or third base line, I should say, and then rolled into the turf harmlessly. Once again, this is a hybrid field. You have a turf infield and a natural grass outfield. So it makes the bounces pretty true in the turf, not as true in the grass. I got to give credit to the grounds crew here at Henry S. Parker. They do a great job of taking care of things. 2-2 is high on a rise ball for ball 3. But a very nice field. The only weird bounces you can really get in between is that turf to grass transition. There's a slap hit over to the opposite side, and that's a base hit. That ball still rolling in the grass as Murphy finally gets it, but not before Nola Mountain could get aboard with it, a double. Nice piece of hitting there for Mountain. As the infield was pinched in, he said, okay, if you're going to all pinch in, I'm going to hit it right over your heads. So that is the second base hit of the day for the Hawks, joining Danae Ojeda, who had the other base hit. And here comes Michaela Clark for the second time in game 2. Pitch from Lepansky is high for ball 1. And Nolan Mountain moved back to second, as it looks like the Peacocks are preparing for a potential steal at third, while also trying to prepare for the bunt as Ty Turner moved in quickly. And then the shortstop Forte, I should say, was backing her up. Here's the next pitch from Lepansky. That's a hit a mile high in the air. That's going to be in foul territory near one of the other stadiums. We got plenty of ballparks here in this complex. This is field 7. Won't be the home for softball throughout the entire year. They'll actually move over to one of the other fields. But for the February games when it's cold, it's nice to have the turf infield, as there's a nice drop curveball for a swing and miss. Good pitch there from Lepansky, who struck out 2 batters in the 3rd inning. Her pitches were great in that frame. The center fielder, Michaela Clark, freshman from Monroe, Louisiana, will send one over towards center field. This is a long run, or I should say shallow center field, but I guess my depth perception was off. It was over closer towards shortstop, and Forte was able to bring that down. You'd think since I've been doing this for long enough, I'd be able to track how the ball is going, but it's still early on in the season. I'm trying to get back into my flow. But that is a pop out to the shortstop, Clark. And speaking of Clark, here comes, or to shortstop Forte, and here comes Clark Calvin. So you go from Michaela Clark to Clark Calvin as a first pitch strike is called. Got a righty on lefty matchup here. Calvin takes a look at an off-speed outside. He does clip the zone for a strike, though. 1 ball and 1 strike. For Clark Calvin, competed with the Minnesota Magic travel team. Next pitch high, 2 balls and 1 strike. She has an older brother who is a member of UC Santa Barbara's baseball program. Of course, sports running in the family there for the Calvins. There's a fly ball over towards left field. Murphy camps underneath it and makes the catch. That's out number 2. Hawks putting some good swings out there in this inning. A base hit earlier by Mountain. And some okay contact from Clark and Calvin, but not enough to generate a base hit. And here comes the lone run scorer of this 1-0 ball game here in the bottom of the 4th inning between St. Peter's and UMES, Danae Ojeda. Ojeda originally from California. He'll swing at the first pitch and foul it backwards right into the grass behind the backstop. For Ojeda, she started her career at Conlinga College, which is in her hometown in California. 0-1 offering, wave and a miss. Late swing there from Ojeda. Lepansky has done a good job working with these batters, kind of setting them up with different pitch speeds. Got some good movement too, some rise or fastball. Next offering. Ball is popped into the infield. Communication is key, and Forte shows it right there by putting it away for out number 3. So a good start for the Hawks in the bottom of the 4th inning with a double by Nola Mountain. But St. Peter's, they respond back with 3 straight outs to strand a runner in scoring position. 1-0 lead for the Hawks as we head to the top of the 5th here on YouTube. Made it to the top of the 5th inning here in Salisbury, Maryland. Hawks and Peacocks going to war in the Battle of the Birds. Paige Perkins, Lamar, check that. Wrong side, here we go. Olivia Christopher, Jess Forte, and Dakota Pitts all due up as the first pitch foul out by Olivia Christopher. She's guided in the air, and Perkins puts her away on the PF2. So a quick 1 up, 1 down for Cassidy O'Neill, whose line has been impressive. 4 1/3 innings of work, 3 strikeouts, has only walked 1 batter, and has limited the base knocks. She's even done well dealing with traffic on the base paths. She dealt with 2 runners getting on in the 3rd, and then responded with 3 consecutive outs. And after St. Peter's put up 19 runs in Game 1, the Hawks have completely flipped this game on its head in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Next pitch is a changeup that misses low. And that's 1 ball and 1 strike to Jess Forte. Forte 0 for 1, but has reached base on a walk on her afternoon, and this time she drills one over towards left field and chops into the wall. Extra bases all day for Forte as she's in with a double. She absolutely smoked that ball. And the Peacocks are in business here in the 5th. That one looked like it had a chance to go for a second. Hearing right now from St. Peter's coaching staff telling their players, line drive. We're looking for line drives, and Dakota Pitts will look for that. She'll take a first pitch, low and away for ball 1. Pitts has gotten a hold of the softball twice today, but they ended up both being fly outs. 1 to center field, 1 to right field. Next pitch low and inside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. So here's the challenge now for Cassidy O'Neill, who's usually a reliever for the Hawks, but is making her second start as there's one that's flying out to center field. Back she goes to make the catch. It's Clark who brought it down. And that'll at least advance a runner for St. Peter's, but the Hawks will trade the runner moving to third in exchange for an out. So a runner 90 feet away, tying run here in the top of the 5th inning. And Ty Turner trying to drive her home. She'll put a swing on the first pitch and foul it backwards for strike 1. Turner played in 5 games last year, so limited time. And she bat .444 in that short span. And already this year, batting .500, and she'll line one up the middle, and Turner delivers. Forte comes in to score, and that's an RBI single for Ty Turner. And that ties up the ball game here in the 5th. Yep, it's a tough spot there for the Hawks when you got to deal with a player that was a all-MAAC rookie team selection, had 41 RBI back in 2023, and is batting over .500 this year. Here's Ashley Murphy facing an 0-1 count in a newly tied ball game, 1-1. Pitch in from O'Neal from the circle. That one hit to the left side off of the glove. It's a fair ball for Dickerson, and now rolling into foul territory, and Murphy is safe. So Murphy safe on the E5, and Turner moves her way to third. So here comes a short conference here and the circle for UMES. Infield looking to touch base here. I guess touch base is the term that's probably more fitting for offensive players than for defense, but maybe not, because first baseman, second baseman, when you're covering a bag, you got to touch a base. So kind of makes sense. But right now, St. Peter's, they've maximized this opportunity in the top of the 5th inning, and they can look to up the ante here. They got 2 away in the frame. But with runners on first and third, Benz Lowitz could really make the Hawks pay here in the 5th and put a lot of pressure on the Hawk offense. So here's the right fielder from Washington, Pennsylvania, attendee of Central Bucks South High School. We'll take ball 1 outside. At her high school, she was the team MVP during her senior year. Now in her freshman season, already making an impact. She finds herself up in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. There's one where, as a pitcher, you've got to find a way out of it if you can. There's a ground ball over to the shortstop, Meyer, and gets it over to first base in time to retire the side with a go-ahead run. Left in scoring position. That was a situation, like I said, O'Neal needed to find a way out, and she did. However, St. Peter's, they tie up the game in the top of the 5th, and we've got a great game on our hands. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th, all tied up at 1 between St. Peter's and UMES. For the first time since the bottom of the 2nd inning, we are tied up again, 1-1 between UMES and St. Peter's. The Hawks looking for their 2nd win of the season. St. Peter's looking for their 4th win of the season after earning their 3rd one in the first game of this doubleheader earlier today. Be the 6, 7, 8 in the order. Paige Perkins leading things off in the 5th and takes ball 1 inside. Lola Meyer and Emily Gumpher are also due up in the inning for the Hawks, as the maroon and gray will look to try to take the lead again. They had some early momentum as there's a foul ball for strike one. Early momentum in the fourth inning of potentially doubling up their lead when Nolan Mountain had a leadoff double to left center. But then 3 straight outs forced by Morgan Lepansky ended up shutting down the door. Shutting the door, I should say. And the Peacocks in uniforms kind of reminiscent of the New York Yankees pinstripes. Next pitch, curveball on the money for a strike. Nice drop curveball from Lepansky. And what's great about having these essentially front row seats to this, you get to really see all the pitch types really well. And it's so impressive to see the different pitches players can throw for strikes. 1-2. Rise ball that time, high and away. That evens up the count 2-2 to Paige Perkins. Perkins' biggest influence is her mom and also her uncle as well. She listed those two as her biggest influences in her life. That time, though, she's down on strikes as Lepansky has her 4th K of the day. And Coach Robinson going to have a conversation with the umpires. It looks like we will have a pinch hitter, and we will. So to the fray comes Araceli Manzo, as Manzo will come in here for her first action of Game 2. She was very much a part of what was going on in Game 1. She was a starter, made some great plays at first base. Also did have a base hit. She had the first base hit of the day. So Manzo 1 for 2 on her afternoon if you combine Game 1 and Game 2 of the doubleheader. And now here in the bottom of the 5th, Araceli Manzo from California stands in. And Selly takes the first pitch high. Ball 1. So 1 away in the inning as Lepansky looking to follow up what her teammate Ava White did in Game 1, earn a win for her team. This time, next pitch low. Good job by Manzo not to swing. For Manzo, she's been one of the best batters for the Hawks to start the season. 364 average going into this game this afternoon, and her average would only go up after batting .500 in Game 1. This time, though, she swings through a rise ball for strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike to Manzo. 4 hits, 1 RBI as well for Araceli. Next offering, off-speed, hit to the right side. It's a slow roller. Christopher had to hurry, but she did make the play in time on a 4-3 ground out. And that's 2 away in inning number 5. Both of these teams have some interesting matchups ahead. For the Hawks, they have Towson coming up at 2 p.m. on March 4th. Hawks are going to be away from home for a very long time, as it looks like we have a new pinch hitter into the game for the Hawks. So here comes Kai Hudson, another player that was in the lineup for Game 1 of the series. And now Hudson joins the fray in the 5th. Base is clear, 1-1 ball game. First pitch is a fastball called for a strike. For Hudson this year, a 143 batter, but has gotten a hit, and you really can't take the stats with too much account or put too much stock in it, I should say, as it's very much early on in the season. And with softball, you get players that go on hot streaks and cold streaks, and sometimes players have cold streaks early in the season, and sometimes players have hot streaks early in the season. But by the end of the year, it'll kind of even out to the level that the player is at. 1-1. And a called strike. So now Hudson finds herself in a bit of a jam here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The player out of Collins Hill High School. If I recall right, I think that is the same high school as the next pitch is fouled off. Feel bad for that camera. It's been trying to stay up for quite some time, and it's been brutalized by the softball today. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes, but I believe that's the same high school as Travis Hunter, if I remember right. Heisman winner from this past year. Next pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Lepansky has her 5th strikeout of the day for St. Peter's. We're headed to the top of the 6th inning. It's anybody's ball game here in Salisbury. 1-1 tie between St. Peter's and UMES. Top of the 6th inning between Maryland Eastern Shore and St. Peter's. Peacocks have beaten the Hawks 3 times in a row. Maryland Eastern Shore looking to break that streak here today. And we have Angelina Wagner gets a first pitch base hit, or should say second pitch base hit, as she is aboard with a lead-off single for St. Peter's. Came in as a pinch hitter for Carly Charles. And she already makes the bat sing a little bit with a base hit. Wagner had 2 RBI in game 1 of the doubleheader and scored twice, so she can be a true impact player. Bunt shown on the first pitch. It's a slow roller, but it's going to be a foul ball. Despite it kind of looking like it would be a fair ball, it seems like it is hit maybe off of the toe or the foot of Wagner, or of Montgomery, I should say. And this isn't kickball, so that is a foul ball in this situation. I bet this would actually be a great place to play some kickball. I'm sure some kids have done that over the years. 0-1 to Montgomery is a changeup that misses low and inside. Count even. 1 ball and 1 strike to Montgomery, who singled in the 4th and then reached on a fielder's choice in the 2nd. Next offering, bunt skied in the air, but it's going to be well foul into the on-deck circle of UMES on the left side. And the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Montgomery. Right now, Wagner represents the go-ahead run. She is at first base for St. Peter's. Peacocks already have been very familiar with the MEAC Conference. They've played Norfolk State 3 times. Next pitch, fastball outside. And the count's even 2-2. They beat Norfolk State once this year, but lost to them twice. The team that UMES did finish above in the standings last year. Next offering is clocked, but foul over to the left side. 1-1 ball game. Top of the 6th inning. Hawks looking to split this doubleheader while St. Peter's looking to sweep it and get 2 games above 500. These 2 teams were originally supposed to play last week as well up in New Jersey, but a massive snowstorm and cold weather front that went through the East Coast made sure that didn't happen. Let's do the 2-2. Here's the pitch. Wave and a miss, strike 3. Back up high in the zone, and that's another strikeout for Cassidy O'Neal. She has now struck out 4. Been one of the best starts of the season for Cassidy O'Neal. Usually comes in as a reliever, but she has been up to the task here today. In her 2nd start of the year, the ERA leader for the Hawks, going strong through 6. First pitch is a ball to Lauren Zerwinski, who's looking for her first base hit of the day. 1 away here in the top of the 6th. Winsky, a sports management major. She lines that one over to the left side. Holt with the quick throw to second. And she got her! What a throw by J.C. Holt in left field. And that's the type of play she can make defensively out there. As Wagner is retired on the 9-4 play. Incredible. J.C. Holt has had some incredible defensive plays this season. Against Presbyterian in the last game that the Hawks had, she threw out a runner all the way from left field. There's a ball that's smoked by Christopher over to right center. That's trouble. The center fielder, Clark, comes up to glove it. Throw down to third. Tag is not in time. So talk about a quick bounce back there for St. Peter's. Despite having their leadoff runner cut off, Olivia Christopher says, hey, don't worry about that. I'm going to get a single that pushes Zerwinski over to third. So now Zerwinski over to third base. She's the go-ahead run just 90 feet away for St. Peter's. Late in the game as the sand in the hourglass starts to run thin. Who will make big plays? We'll find out. First pitch misses high and outside for ball one to Jess Forte. Cassidy O'Neill, who's dealt with some runners on the base paths, has handled traffic pretty well today, including a situation where there was runners on the corners the last time, as there's a ground ball that's gloved, but foul. Right before Tyler Dickerson could bring that one in, it was deemed a foul ball. And it'll go down as a strike instead. 1 ball and 1 strike to Forte. But Cassie O'Neill dealt with runners on first and third in the fifth, and she responded by retiring the side. However, with just 1 out in the inning, this is a little precarious here for the Hawks. Next pitch to Forte is a called strike. She painted the outside of the zone there on that pitch. And the count is 1-2. Forte 1 for 2 on the day, a double in the fifth, and a walk in the third. He's got runners on first and third. Here's the next offering. And that's high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But we look back at how big that play was by J.C. Holt. St. Peter's would have already had the lead if she didn't make that great throw from left field. Second outfield assist, at least prominent outfield assist the last couple games. There's a skied ball into foul territory. Is there room? There is not. As Gunther was looking to track that one down, but not enough time for her to gather that one in. And the count remains the same. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Put up or shut up time here in Salisbury. Here's the delivery. Line drive over towards center field, and it's down for a base hit. 1 runner comes in to score. Here comes another runner. No throw to the plate. Forte delivers in a big way for the Peacocks. And they lead 3-1 here in the 6th. And that's where the Sun plays some games. We saw how O'Neill had to ask for some sunglasses from her coach, from her coach, Savannah Smith, rather. And fortunately for the Hawks, the outfielders don't have that same luxury. There's an infield pop-up by Dakota Pitts. That's brought in by Meyer, and that retires the side, but damage has been done. The Peacocks take advantage of the sunlight kind of being on their side a little bit, and they lead 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. 1 on the scoreboard. Welcome back to Salisbury, Maryland, Henry S. Parker Athletic Complex, where the St. Peter's Peacocks just took a lead 3-1, despite what the scoreboard says, 3-1 over Maryland Eastern Shore. And here comes a pinch hitter into the game. It's Ella Falsetti leading things off in the bottom of the 6th. Is now Morgan Lipansky. After trailing a majority of the game, she has either been in a tie game or trailed since the top of the 5th inning. She now pitches for the first time today with the lead. It's got to provide some extra wind in your sails. Speaking of wind in their sails, that ball looked like it had some wind behind it. But nevertheless, Murphy, the left fielder, comes up to make the catch. And that quickly retires Falsetti on the F7. I guess L7 probably is a little better. So again, I want to say thank you for joining me throughout this game. It's been a fun softball doubleheader between Maryland Eastern Shore and St. Peter's. First game, 20 combined runs between the two teams. In the second game, we've only had 4 combined runs. It's 3-1. Now we turn over the lineup card to J.C. Holt. She'll slap that over to the right side, but the first baseman Pitts makes the over-the-head catch. And that's a quick 2 up, 2 down. It's also a big out to get if you're St. Peter's, given how potent J.C. can be. She showcased how strong she can be as an outfielder with an amazing throw from left field, where she put some mustard on that one. Threw with some good speed. Brings on Nola Mountain. 2 away in the inning. Hawks down to just 4 outs. And there's a bunt, but it will be foul as it went backwards on Mountain. Hawks are looking to climb over the Mountain here, as the Mountain now is a deficit, a hurdle of 2 runs. St. Peter's has scored 3 unanswered runs. The Mountain, a player that led the team in batting average last year, stands in. Here's a pitch to the lefty. Fastball for a called ball outside. Counts even 1-1. I'm smiling there at the softball team's chant. That actually looks like the chant borrowed from volleyball. There's a swing and a miss on a rise ball there. It's an attempted slap hit by Mountain. And it counts 1 ball and 2 strikes. But they have a ball was way out chant that volleyball and softball use. You can see kind of the camaraderie between the two teams. I think it's awesome. Chance to get out of the frame here. Next offering. It's high on a rise ball. Serwinski couldn't bring it down, but with no runners on the base paths, no harm, no foul. Counts 2-2. Senior from British Columbia, trying to keep the inning alive for the Hawks. Next offering, slap to the right side, but foul. For Mountain, after her career is done with Maryland Eastern Shore, she plans to apply to medical school after graduation. We'll see if she can get a hit here. Next offering, fouled backwards. And for Nola, she said her brother Ethan is her biggest inspiration for his positive outlook in life, despite the challenges he's been presented with. Now the Hawks trying to keep a positive outlook through the challenges they're dealing with in this game, trailing 3-1. Next offering. That's fouled backwards. It could be playable, and the catcher, Serwinski, puts it away. And that is another 1-2-3 inning for Lipansky. She has retired 9 batters in a row. We're headed to the top of the 7th inning, where St. Peter's will look for some insurance when we come back here on YouTube. Seventh and final inning of a doubleheader. We've played now 12 innings here this afternoon on a beautiful day for softball, mostly sunny with some clouds intermittently, but we have now a beautiful evening. Hawks now find themselves with their backs against the wall as St. Peter's looks to do more damage. They put up 1 run in the 5th, 2 runs in the 6th, and now it'll be up to Ty Turner here to try to get things started in the 7th inning. It's been a crescendo of offense. It started off quiet, but has gotten louder, and it's going to keep getting louder as that ball flying out to left field, and that's a base hit. Extra bases all day for Ty Turner, who turns around first and is into second base with a double. So after things were smooth sailing for Cassidy O'Neill through 4 innings, St. Peter's has adjusted. St. Peter's will be back in action on March 1st. There's a bunt shown, and that's a strike. Throw down to third, and Turner scampers back to second. So count is 0-1 to Ashley Murphy. Murphy originally from Medford, New Jersey. And in 2024, a really successful freshman campaign, batting .333. Look at a called strike, and it counts 0-2. And the next offering, skied in the air, but foul. And that keeps the plate appearance alive. But looking ahead at the schedule for the Peacocks, back in action against Holy Cross. Battle between a couple of Northeastern teams. And then they'll take on Delaware State for a doubleheader on March 4th for a prominent rival of the Hawks in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. As for the Hawks, they'll have matchups against Towson on March 4th before heading on the road to Mississippi to take on North Dakota State and Southern Miss. Another pitch sails outside, runs the count even. Battle between the MEAC and the MAC, or MAAC. Always want to at least distinct that because there also is another MAC as well, Mid-American Conference, and then the MAAC as well. Count runs full now to Ashley Murphy, who's 0 for 2. And she'll swing and put one on the ground over to the shortstop. Meyer does a good job to look off the runner at second and then throws the first in time for out number 1. So there's a 6-3 ground out. And that's the first out of the inning for O'Neill. Looking to complete 7 innings. Going into this matchup, O'Neill has pitched 19 innings. She pitched 2 innings in the first game today. So she's looking to make it 9 full innings of work today. Should be a job well done. The good news for the Hawks, a lot of rest. They don't have a game until March 4th against Towson. That's well into next week. Next offering, 0-1, drilled over to the left side, caught on the slide. J.C. Holt makes another dynamic play in the outfield and retires Ben's Lowitz. Can't stop, won't stop J.C. Holt today on the defensive end. So that's 2 away in the inning, and if you are the pitcher, you can't help but smile when you have fielders that are making plays like that. And you can tell O'Neill with a little like first pitch strike to Angelina Wagner. The left side, but foul by about 7 or 8 feet. St. Peter's looking to get their 4th win against the Hawks in the last 2 seasons. They won both games last year of a 2-game series against the Hawks. They won both matchups by 4 runs apiece. Next strike 3, and the 5th strikeout of the day for Cassidy O'Neill. She has pitched 7 innings and has posted a quality start for the Hawks today. Despite that, though, the Hawks find themselves trailing 3-1 as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning. It all comes down to this here on YouTube. Here we go, bottom of the 7th inning. Last chance for the Hawks, looking to avoid falling to 1-9 on the season, while St. Peter looking to improve to 4-2. And here in the 7th inning, a pitcher wearing number 7 in her 7th inning of work. It's Morgan Lepansky, and she'll work against Clark Calvin in Ojeda. First pitch skied in the air. There's a little bit of trouble with it, but great call by First pitch skied in the air. There's a little bit of trouble with it, but great call by Forte, the shortstop, taking. That's been the thing for Lepansky today. She's gotten some good strikeouts. I mean, she's got 5 strikeouts, but a lot of times she's had some quick plate appearances where she's kept the pitch count nice and low and made this very easy. Trusting her defense, letting balls be put in play. Takes a pitch outside. Calvin 0